What's going on, everyone? So it is official. Courtney Cox has signed on to return to Scream 7, Variety reports. Now, look, this isn't a surprise. Gale Weathers, Courtney Cox, was fully expected to be on board. She's even kind of touched on it in the past. Like, there was not really a doubt or question of, like, is Courtney Cox going to return? Is Gale Weathers going to be in this movie? We all kind of knew this was going to happen. But to actually get the confirmation, to get the news that she has signed on, takes the relief off, right? Takes the pressure off of, like, okay, is she really going to be in this movie? What's taking so long? But now it's great to see because she is the longest tenure character, right? Even more so than Sidney Prescott, right? Because she has been in every Scream movie, or will be in every Scream movie thus far. Even Nev Campbell missed Scream 6. Obviously, there were reasons behind it, but nonetheless, right? Courtney Cox, Gale Weathers, has returned for Scream 7. Now, I really hope that they expand on their story more. I could not stand the way she was utilized in Scream 6. This is a character that has had more development and story behind than any other character in the Scream franchise. I mean, even more than Sidney Prescott. I mean, watch her progression from Scream 96 to just Scream 4. Look at the difference in her. I mean, even in that original trilogy, look at the difference from her from Scream 96 to Scream 3 even. Right? She don't get me wrong, she's always been a bit cutthroat, but she has changed in so many ways. Right? She's still always going to be there. She's still always going to want to get the scoop in the story. She's always going to want to crack the Ghostface mystery, obviously. But now she's at a different stage, right? And I really hope now, especially with Kevin Williamson at the helm again, my hope is that he kind of gets Gale Weathers right in this upcoming Scream movie. Because again, Scream 6 was just, in my opinion, they just really dropped the ball with her and her character. I mean, honestly, they should have killed her, right? They set up, we basically watched her die just to, off camera, explain that she survived. Right? It was like Mindy in a throwaway line. Like, yeah, I was alive, right? Like, and it's just, why? Like, if you're going to do all that, you might as well have killed her. Look, I'm not saying that I necessarily want her to die or that she has to die or something, but given the circumstances that took place in Scream 6, she should have died. But also, there was no point and purpose to her character, right? I mean, the only thing that she did in Scream 6 was, like, reveal the shrine room, but even that, we found out that Dermot Mulroney's character, Detective Bailey, was going to reveal that regardless, right? He even said, man, she is a good detective, right? Or she is a good reporter. But what? Like, it didn't serve a point, right? It didn't foil Ghostface's plan and they had to kind of, figure it out on the fly. Or you didn't have a scene where, Ghostface was in the shrine room when they showed up and had to, like, kind of escape and maybe somebody got killed or attacked or whatever, right? Like, nothing. It literally showed up. Nothing happened. It was cool to see the shrine room and all that stuff. But then that was it. Like, it fizzled out. And so this film is supposed to be kind of more Sidney and Gale focused, right? Supposedly it's supposed to be more kind of 50-50 new characters as well as Sidney and Gale. Perfect. Right? Tell the story. Continue to develop her character. Continue to build her in a proper manner. Give her a purpose and point to be in the film. I want her in the film. But Scream 5 and 6 has not done a great job with character development, particularly with the legacy characters. I thought they did an okay job with Dewey. My problem with the whole Dewey story was that it didn't make sense. It was the total opposite of what Dewey and Gale's story has been their entire history. Right? Gale was always the one that ran away. Gale was always the one that went and pursued, a career here and there. And it would have made so much more sense given the way Scream 4 played out, because Gale was dealing with writer's block and she was kind of dealing with the struggles of, being a stay-at-home wife and, her sheriff husband, and, she wanted to get back into writing, but she couldn't write anything. And then even at the end, you had, maybe you guys should write the book together. And they were kind of like, no. I think it would have been perfect to kind of piggyback off of Scream 4 and kind of make it to where, Gale Weathers kind of got the taste again. Ghostface came back, killed Ghostface. Maybe she wrote a book and that book was successful and it kind of like lit the fire under her. And now she wanted to do a show and she got offered, that Good Morning show in New York. And Dewey didn't want to go out there. I'm the sheriff. I'm this, I'm that, right? Like, because Dewey was always the one that didn't like the big cities and stuff, right? Like, he was always a small town guy. I mean, even in Scream 3, Gale and Dewey are having that conversation. And he says, I tried to stay there for you, but like days were years in Woodsboro, right? Like, and she was just never that small town girl. So it would have made more sense to kind of have it be that. And then, Dewey hits rock bottom because Gale left him, right? Like something like that, chose her career over him again, right? And I think that would have been more powerful because, now that Dewey died, Gale has that regret. She's got to deal with like, oh man, I left him. And what if I would have stayed? Right. Like, I think it would have been a much better story. And then Sydney in Scream 5 served no purpose again. Like everything she did, somebody else could have done. Right? Like literally, she put the tracker on the car and then literally looked at Gale Weathers and was like, I learned from the best or whatever, signaling that Gale would have done that. And then, her shooting through the doors and saying I'm bored, that was cool, but that wasn't something that like no one else could have done or something that was like so integral to the story and the plot. And then even her saving the day and everything, right? Like we knew Mindy was alive. Like that would have been a nice little surprise, a nice little twist that, Mindy survived and, ended up saving the day, and would have been a nice kind of callback to those that knew about the classic idea for Scream 96, where Randy was supposed to be the hero. Randy was originally supposed to push the TV on Stu and stuff, right? It would have kind of been this kind of full circle moment that could have played a part. And they didn't go that route, right? Like, so to me, it's just like you've had 2 movies in which you've done a bad job with the legacy characters. I don't want to see that again. I don't want to see them botch Gale Weathers and Sidney Prescott and stuff. My hope is that now they're the focus. So the writing, hopefully, in the story will be better because they need to rely now on Sydney and Gale more than ever because they don't have these other leads and stuff. But again, it's still a bit of a concern, if I'm being honest. There's still definitely kind of those questions in the back of my mind of like, uh-oh, like, here we go. But I do have a little more sense of confidence with Kevin Williamson, as I mentioned, back at the helm, ready to go. Look, I don't care if she dies either way. I know a lot of people don't want her to die. I don't mind it. Right? Because again, I get the whole point is to try to raise the stakes. My frustration is that they killed Dewey and then just like, went back on their whole, like, we wanted to change things. We wanted to raise the stakes. We wanted to show that no one was safe. Okay, well then why did no one die in Scream 6? Literally, why did no one die in Scream 6? Like, I'm all for you, killing Sydney and killing not killing Sydney, killing Gale and Dewey. Correction. I'm all for them killing Dewey and Gale if there's a point, if that's to set the groundwork and to add that level of tension and like, oh no, are they going to kill Sydney now? Like, but when you go the other way with that, it's a little disappointing. And then Scream 6, we literally watched her die, like watched her finally meet her end. And look, that was a great scene. Don't get me wrong. I actually liked that scene with Gale, but I just felt like the payoff wasn't there, right? Like you set up this great scene just to kind of, go back on it again by like off camera in like a throwaway line. Oh yeah, by the way, Gale Weathers is alive. It's just like, ugh. So, and the beauty of Gale is that you don't need an explanation for her character, right? Like you don't need to explain why she's there or anything like that. You don't really get that with other characters. Or you don't really get that luxury with other characters. Like Sydney, you need an explanation for why she's going somewhere to take on Ghostface, right? Or you need to bring Ghostface to her. Gale, you don't. Right? We all know why Gale's there. She's there to try to solve it and write another book, right? She's there to try to, use Blue's Clues and save the day, right? Like, so you don't have that sense of like, okay, well, why did she come in, right? Like Scream 5, you had to explain Sydney coming back, right? You had to explain why was Sydney there, right? And it was because Sydney, Dewey died, and so she wanted to kind of help enact revenge for Dewey. She wanted to kind of get back, for Dewey. And it's just like, Gale, you have such an easy built-in, like, it's automatic, right? So it should be something that should be easy. Again, I don't want her in this movie just to have her in this movie. If she's going to be in this movie, it needs to have some purpose. It needs to have some story. It needs to have some reason why she's in it. But those are my opinions, and as always, I pass the question on you. Let me know yours down in the comments below. What do you think? And if what are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you think, like, yes, look, have Gale, she needs a point, she needs purpose, have her in the film in a meaningful manner, a meaningful way? Do you think, like, no, it doesn't matter. As long as she's in the film, who cares, right? You just need to have her in the film. I feel whatever your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it either way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.